Hi everyone, welcome back to 33 Founders. I'm so excited you're with us today because I'm here with Donny Fausner, the co-founder of the Venue Report. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Of course, Jenna. Thanks for having me.
So I actually want to start out by having you work backwards. Can we introduce the Venue Report by sharing the big vision of what you guys are and what you want to be?
Sure. The big vision of what we are is a digital media company that promotes gathering. What we want to be is the trusted destination for finding venue spaces from around the world for any type of gathering, get together, whether that be weddings or corporate events or a group getaway, anniversary, birthday parties, any type of thing, so that you're coming back to find venue spaces for any of those special moments in your life.
So the site is beautiful, and every time I see any of the venues, I'm considering quitting my job and just becoming a venue road tripper. But I want to actually dive into the steps that you guys have taken to build it. So you had this big vision. Let's work backwards when you outlined each of the steps you were going to take to get where you are today.
Okay. So we knew that we had to create something that was not just a website. We also knew we had to create something that wasn't a blog. So we set out to create more of an application, a platform, a place where people could also share work. So we could have contributors that were sharing places, venues that they've shot, worked at before. A place where we could also be very heavy on our blog and use stories, so we get a lot of great content promoting it. But also we needed a great search site, so it would be location based. People can search for venues, whether it's a state or a country or a city, whatever it is. So that's kind of how we set out to do this, and it's been a long road. I mean, when you kind of dive into it, it's like you realize, okay, well, we're not just building a website here. This is much more dynamic, and there's a lot of facets to it. And we have a few great advisors that have had some good tips from. One of the guys that was early on with us is Dave Nemitz, who started the Bleacher Report, and they use that facet of content, getting people to contribute information and write pieces on. For them, it was sports, and so we thought that's fantastic. Let's do that same kind of a deal where we call them our correspondents, and people can be venue sport correspondents, and they send in information on venues, photos, any of that kind of stuff that helps to paint a better picture for the venue space. And there's a lot of stuff to work through. It took quite a while. I was telling you, I mean, we actually incorporated in January 2013, but we didn't even push a full website live until December of last year. Because one thing is Courtney, who's my wife and a co-founder, she's a designer. And so when you say you look at the site and it looks beautiful, that's all her. She's very meticulous about what she wants, how it's going to be laid out, how she sees things. And so we spent a lot of time on the design, spent a lot of time on making sure all the parts were exactly what we wanted and how we wanted them presented to the user, and to have the best UI UX experience for them.
So when you guys first started out, so let's say this is back in 2013, you were primarily, as you shared, focusing on the content where you'd have people submit and write blogs about these great venues. How did you keep the interest for people to come in December of 2014 when you had the full site and everything running?
Well, before this, we weren't doing the correspondence. I mean, we didn't have the capability to really accept people to start submitting reports. So it was all us. It was us doing the reports. It was us writing the stuff, and we had been traveling for a few years before that, and we had been gathering data on great venue spaces, and this for a good year and a half or maybe even two before that. So we had a ton of information. We had already set up Salesforce, so we were loading everything in there, so we could use as a place to to keep track of everything. But yeah, I mean, for the first while, it was just Courtney and I. There was nobody else. And we brought in Katie, who's our marketing director. She came over from Nike. It's been about a year now that she's been here, which has been fantastic. And then slowly we've hired on 3 other people that have helped a lot. And then we've hired on about 7 different reporters that are writers. And then we started putting out the thing about apply to become a correspondent for the venue report. And we got a ton of interest from it. And it wasn't through a mailer, it was just on the site. And we were kind of shocked by the response that we got. So we actually shut it down because we weren't ready for it yet. And we've just now started deploying that, really reaching back out and pushing those off. And so we're starting to get a lot of reports and submissions coming in now. Is having to focus on different areas. For us, we don't Google scrape, so we don't go out there and like every venue that you see on our website, they fill up.
Someone's reported on it.
Yeah. They fill out their own profiles. I mean, they have their own profile. They complete it on their own. They manage them just like you would a Facebook page or anything. So we're building relationships with them. We don't go out there and Google scrape and create our own profiles for people, and they don't know that they exist. They are involved the entire way. In fact, it's in their hands to edit it and change it, add photos, et cetera, et cetera. So just focusing on that aspect of it, the venue side, the correspondent side, and then the celebrator side, the users, So there's a lot of different moving parts. And yeah.
One of the things you shared is that when you guys were first starting out and looking for correspondence, you got such an overwhelming response that you had to shut it down for the time being.
Yeah.
What are some other things that you did early on that were either too soon or a mistake for the time that someone who's the venue report back in 2013 can learn from?
Well, for us, Court and I, neither of us came from a tech background, right? So when we first set up the site, we didn't set it up on the proper platform. And maybe, maybe I should say we didn't set it up on it. Maybe I should say more that, you're limited, right? So you go through some funding, and we were able to now go and build a custom platform, build what we really needed, right? And at the time, it was just, it would have been better if we had just able to do that up front, but we didn't have the money to go and build something like that up front, And so there's some of that stuff that I wish that I knew more when it came to technology. I mean, I've grown leaps and bounds in the last 2 years by going through this experience, but focus on team's extremely important. The people that you bring on, I don't necessarily believe in employees or interns. I think we're all part of a team. We're a unit. We're like a family that's moving together to create something great. And I believe in everybody being passionate and loving what they do, and making sure that they're happy doing that. What else? Just little things, little business things that you would kind of run into. I can't think of any specific examples off the top of my head, but I think those are the major things. Really, for us personally, it was tech, because we weren't technology. And we weren't people in that world in the beginning. Yeah.
One of the things that I've learned on one of my favorite blogs, the First Round Review, is from Heidi Roizen, and she shares that the key to happiness is to lower your expectations and prepare for an imperfect path along the way. And that's certainly what it's like running a startup. Now that you're 2 years in as a founder, especially coming from the corporate world, how do you feel like you're stronger at managing your team?
Well, I think I'm stronger because we've just learned a lot along the way, and she's dead on. You have no idea what you're getting into when doing this. I imagine it's the same thing if you're starting a brick and mortar store and it's not a tech startup, thing, but anything else. You're starting a business is a big feat. It's Courtney and I work all the time. We work all the time. And there's always something to do. And then when you're not working, you feel guilty because there's something you have to do, and you should be working. The flip side of that is that we love what we do. So if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work so much. I spent, almost 6 years playing music, and I would spend countless hours in a recording studio through the nights or whatever it was, and driving through nights to get to the next gig, that kind of thing. I mean, long, regular, ridiculous hours, but when you love to do it, it just doesn't feel that way. Um, so I think that what have I grown from? I think it's just the experience of going through this and just getting up every day and continuing to do it. It's another challenge for us is that we have a little 2.5-year-old daughter so we're not,
She's
young.
the real CEO.
Yeah, she sure is. We're not young, in our 20s that are just starting this, and are in a place with 3 other people and don't have a whole bunch of expenses maybe or something like that. I mean, we have, whole lives, everything else is going on. We have a little girl that's there too. So juggling that, making sure to spend the time with her and be with her through it all. And all of this has just helped to, you know, keep us much more focused when we're here in the office.
Personally, Donny, what was it like shifting from the corporate world? 'Cause I know you had a big finance role prior to the venue report into startup life. Is it what you expected?
Um, no, I mean, no and yes. It wasn't what I expected just because I had not involved in something like this before, like doing tech, like a startup, like an online company. I'm used to selling something that was tangible, something that you knew really like that. And for us, this is different. It's a different type of a thing. I mean, you're focused on really driving traffic to a site. You're focused on building something, and of course, there's monetization that plays in. But that's for us. We made a conscious decision to focus on that a little bit further down the road, and really, build traffic and build an audience and build a brand. And so no, you don't anticipate that in the beginning. You think, oh, this is going to be a blast. I know,
Startup life.
yeah, but then you get into it and it's like, oh man, so many late nights and um, working all the time. A lot of stuff. But again, it is what it is, and I would have no regrets at all.
So I think what makes that process, but for you guys, you're very fortunate, better is that you've seen tremendous success so far. Tell me about your growth, especially since you guys launched in December 2014, and what that's allowed you to experiment with.
Yeah, so when we launched in December, we've seen good, really good growth. I mean, so we broke through about 100,000 page views here just recently. We've grown by about 340% since December. We've had a lot of users and a bunch of new venues coming on. I think people are starting to recognize this the way that we want to be recognized. We're also getting a lot of different PR opportunities that are coming our way, and it's established a brand, which is what we really wanted to do, and I think people see it as like something they want to be a part of, and so that's allowed a lot of great opportunities as well. I mean, our next focus here now has been on video. We're doing a whole bunch of new video stuff that's about to start rolling out, and it's going to be really exciting. It's just gotten the interest of a lot of different people, and that's hopefully is what helps us when we go for our next A round, also with our growth and to continue on. I think the numbers warrant it. We looked really good. Things have been moving really strong, and month over month numbers have been growing really good. So yeah, it's been fantastic to see the response. I mean, I get cards in the mail from people. We get emails from people saying they would have never even known this place and they never even looking for this place to go to had they not found it on the venue report. So that's
Means a lot.
yeah, it means a ton. It means a ton to me. And now that we have people that are working here, that means a ton to me too. They're doing something that they love to do, and we're able to provide a place for them to do that, and creating a job for them. And that means a lot to me.
That's something that when you talk about your team like that, that I've recently learned about when we're talking about, you know, not eliminating necessarily completely the corporate structure of culture, but giving people the autonomy to work the way that they like to work and to pursue different passions. Over at Medium, Jason Sherman shared a great response when he said that you have to accept and celebrate people in the ways that are best for them. So he uses the acronym SCARF: status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. So everyone likes their own type of compensation, and as a founder, as a leader, you have to grant that. How have you seen that amount as your team has grown, especially so quickly?
Well, I like to empower everybody. I like to not be someone who, neither Courtney and I come into this as a know-it-all. I mean, the reason what we try to do is surround ourselves with people that know more than we do, in those areas. And I certainly don't want to be someone who's micromanaging somebody, but I want them to feel like they're creating this, they're doing that as well. And I'm constantly asking everybody, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be with the venue report? What kind of areas would you really like to focus on? Because I want to make sure that they're happy, with what they're doing, and they're not feeling stale in something, or they're not feeling motivated. And so for me, it's about always talking to everybody here and making sure everybody feels, like we're all part of a team. We're all pushing to do the same thing here, and that is to grow this company to something, bigger than it is now. We're still early on, so we'll see how this continues to grow. And I have full intentions of trying to always keep a great workplace where people are really motivated and happy, and an environment where it's not like cubicles and you're sitting there and you don't talk. And, I mean, I want everyone to be, feel flexible.
When it comes to evaluating how they feel, how do you achieve that as a leader?
When it comes to evaluating how they feel,
Like, is it one-on-one meetings? Is it big team meetings?
we have team meetings. We have one-on-one meetings. We open talk. Anybody here would tell you that I'm extremely open. I mean, I'll talk to them about anything and everything, just as if they are, a founder as well. I don't hold any secrets back from anybody. Yeah, I think communication is a really key thing. It's making sure that you're always talking to people and making sure that they know what's going on, and also they're feeling empowered, like I said, so that they feel like they don't have to run every little thing by you, and they don't, that they have this, they have their area, and it's up to them to run with this. And then we have weekly meetings, probably usually like once or twice a week. Actually, we'll get together as a group and sit in the office and just discuss different things, and then we'll have one-offs as well, to discuss stuff if we need to. The weekly meetings as a team are scheduled. One-offs are more just if it happens, if we need to talk about something here or there. I'm always available. Courtney's always available. We're always here to talk to them, and I think everybody feels pretty open about it.
When it comes to the team meetings and giving everyone the autonomy to, own their project, what type of processes have you guys put in place from the earliest days when it was just you and Courtney, and then when you added your marketing manager, to ensure that you didn't have to be micromanaging because you trusted that they were going to carry out the project in a way that reflects the company well?
Yeah, in the beginning, I mean, you have to do some vetting of work in the beginning, just because you don't know them, and you get involved, and you start seeing what they're capable of and how their performance is on things. And then it becomes just more of a transition of, well, it becomes where you're trusting them and you're transitioning to just pass it over. And we just hired a new guy who came in as our content communications guy, and is a couple weeks now in. He's already running with it now. We trust him and his work. The first couple weeks, it's a matter of discussing through. For us, the important thing was discussing through brand voices, exactly what we were trying to convey, what the message is that we're trying to get out there. Going through photos, making sure that they know what type of photos we're looking for, when it comes to curation, what type of venues we're looking for when we're looking to invite venues to be part of the venue report. And yeah, that's about it.
I like that. So if I came into your office and I was asking everyone there, what is it like to work with the venue report? What do you think they'd say?
They would say that it's amazing.
That's a good response. And you said that quickly, so that means they really would say that.
They would say that. I can bring them in right now, and you can ask them.
Should I line up and have them all
I
ask?
feel I feel 99% positive they would say the same thing because I ask them all the time, how you feel, are you happy? Is there anything I can do for you? The people that are working here, they love it. We have one of the girls is here. She's been with us for a while, and she's pregnant. She's going to take leave for a few weeks, and so it's come to the question of are you planning on coming back, or are you wanting to be a stay-at-home mom, or what's the idea? And I just sat down and talked to her just about this, and she was like, "Look, I've looked for years for a job like this. Like, I love what I do. I want to be here. I'm coming back. This is what I love to do." Um, and so, yeah, I feel real confident that they're happy about doing what they do.
New baby on the team mean Pilot has someone else to manage, so
That's right.
keep her busy.
That's right. She does.
I want to shift gears for a couple of minutes because I know you're in charge of biz dev and chat about the financial side of things. I just read a great post also in the first round review from Molly Graham where she talks about startup compensation and that when your team is starting to grow, just like you guys are, you have to have things in place so it's not, hey, you get this amount of equity and you get this amount of equity. Everyone kind of comes in and there's a system of what's going to happen. How has that worked for you guys?
Yeah, it's worked good. So we established deals. We put aside when we first started out. This is where advisors helped a lot actually, because we were able to talk through them and get what their experience was in the past. And so we put aside like 10% of the company with the idea that this was going to be equity that we could be putting towards employees, people that were coming on, and team members that. And so we work out contracts from the beginning, and it's vested contracts, vested deals, and so it's pretty black and white. They see exactly what they get. They get compensated as well, and then they get vested interest in the company. Again, the idea is to keep them motivated and have them feel like they're part of this. So there is not really a lot of guessing because it all
That's what she was
happens.
saying you have to avoid.
Yeah, there's not any guessing at all. I mean, it's all done right in the beginning when you're talking through people and letting them know what you're able to offer and what you're looking at, and both financially and equity wise.
When it
I
comes
think that would be tough if you were to try to guess your way through it as you went. you know.
Well, I think it just gets to, I mean, there should be a system for that. It's not like someone doing the same job. You get 5%, you get 15% because you came when
Yeah.
I'm having a great day.
Yeah.
When it comes to hiring and promotions and raises and all of those things, are you more apt to seek senior executives from outside the organization or would you prefer to hire from within? Not
uh,
necessarily now, even in the future.
yeah, I would think in the future I would be. That's a tough question. I mean, for me, it's about getting um, not just the most qualified. I just had this conversation with one of our chief architect the other night, actually, about how I'd actually rather have somebody who is say a 7 in qualifications, but is a 10 on passion, than someone who's a 10 on qualifications and a 5 or 6 on passion. You know what I mean?
We'll
Like,
get to it tomorrow.
yeah, I'd just rather have somebody who really loves what we're doing, who really gets the overall thing, and is a team, team player, responsible, and than someone who's just amazing. So that being said, I mean, I think I would always look to see inside the organization. Obviously, this is really early on right now, so we're talking
Yeah.
about the future, But I would always look inside the organization first, because first off, they're familiar. They already know everything about what's going on here, so that it makes it easier. And if they're doing a great job, then I want to support that and I want to promote that. That being said, there's going to be a lot of other roles that come up that are not in the organization, and I need to search that out and find somebody who I think fits it the best. And like I said in the beginning, team is extremely important. So, I mean, we just hired on a couple more people, and we did 2 ads out on LinkedIn, and within a week and a half, we had, like 500 people that had applied for the jobs, and we went through all of those applications. I mean, it was a process that took part, because that was one thing we really kind of held on to from the incubator, was how important team was. And so, we went through all of that, and I would do the same thing as it moves forward. I would definitely, whether it was inside or outside.
When it comes to identifying that passion, I just had a great conversation with Scott Belsky where he shared that no matter what, exactly like you said, you have to go for initiative over experience. So if I'm going to come in and figure out everything I need to learn and I'll stay up all night to do it, I'm probably the better bet. How do you identify that in a conversation with someone?
That's tough. That's like
It
saying,
is tough. That's what I want to know.
yeah, it's like asking a designer, a really famous designer, how do you choose what outfit to wear, and they go, I don't know, I just do it. That's, it's not something that can be explained. I think he's right on too. It's a judgment of character. It's talking. It's seeing them in person and talking to them. It's You'd be surprised how far like a cover letter goes too. Like you would be surprised how far like a response right away after you talk to somebody, them shooting you an email just saying thanks for taking the time to talk. Like these little things, they go a long way. But it's hard to say. I For me, it comes down to, you can hear it in their voice. You can, when you talk to them, and you can see it in their work when they'd send over, like we would give people some homework, like, hey, do this, this, and this, and I want to see these samples. You'd see it in the work. You could see it in their emails, or them reaching back out, or following up and following up and following up again, and writing again and again, and really on top of it. Or we had someone randomly stop by the office to drop off one of their resumes. That it's not like our office is posted out all over the place in a big brick and mortar store. So I don't know how she really found, but she was here and came here to see us in person and drop it off.
I imagine that makes a big difference, especially today because everything's done online.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Unfortunately, Jenna, I'm not going to be able to give you the answer you're looking for. I imagine he wasn't able to give you that answer either. It's something that just he's right on. Initiative over experience, but I can't tell you this is what you look for exactly. Those are some examples of the things that I see.
What's your favorite interview question to ask?
Favorite interview question to ask? Hmm. Well, geez, I don't know. I like to ask them. Well, I mean, we get through experience and all this stuff. You get through all the things you need to, and one of the things that I like to ask is just, I tell them that for us it's important that we're a small team, that we look at this as a team, and so what's the most important thing in your life now? Because I want to hear about you as a person. We've already gotten through the work, and we've gotten through those kind of things, and I want to know about you. And I also ask them, what's the most important thing in your life right now? And hearing things like, family, or my dog, or my, like these kind of things. I mean, it gives you a little bit more insight into who the person is, and I imagine that gives you a little bit of insight into the other question that you were just asking too. Sees a little bit more of their values or morals too.
I like that. So, Donnie, what's the most important thing in your life right now?
My wife and my daughter.
I could have predicted that. Then I would have been like the little interview genie over here.
Yeah, yeah. Family is. I mean, family is everything. After having my daughter, you realize really quick that I become number three. I mean, everything is about her, and then I go. I mean, I may go to like go. I need to go buy a pair of jeans, and I'll go to the store, and inevitably, I always end up coming back with something for Pilot first, and then I'll find some. Then I'll look something for my wife, and then I usually don't get the pair of jeans and do it. But yeah, it's family is everything to me, and I say that to everybody here too, and anybody who's involved with the project. Stuff going on, and family comes first, and you should do that, and make sure you do that.
I love that, and I really love that question. I'm going to quote you from now on.
Okay.
finding out about people. So I want to get right back into the biz dev side of things because I know that you guys have, so it's free for a venue to list with you guys if they accept the invitation and they work on the site, but you guys also offer them a lot of other services to really extend their reach. Can you dive into some ways that you guys are working on monetizing?
Yeah, I sure can. So there's a couple different things. Premium profiles. This is going to be part of the video stuff that we're really doing, and venue report verified. So we've already done some of these with Four Seasons Resorts, Rosewood Hotels. We just came back from, that was this trip in Italy. Um, Getting venue report verified means coming out, and what we're looking to do is we can film a video. We'll produce a video for you. Um,
That's huge.
it's huge, and especially this day and age, with video and the way that it's going, that's why we're about to push a big video platform for us. And so premium profiles will be allow the venue to now add their venue or their videos. They can add video content to their. One other aspect of that will be like Google Business, so like virtual walkthroughs of venue spaces that we can take care of. So premium profiles, venue report verified, spotlight your venue with ads. So we're a big advertorial platform, so we'll be doing a lot of that kind of stuff. Headlines, get your venue in the headlines. So we do big blog pieces, more informational reports on them. What else do we have? There's a few different pieces that are coming into play. Specials and unbooked dates is another thing. So we're going to offer venues the ability to list their specials, or if they're trying to fill an unbooked date, they can purchase a spot that'll get preferred placements in a preferred area that shows like dates that they're running specials on that they're trying to fill, or specials in general that they're running that they're trying to fill and they want to get promoted. Because a lot of these venues, they have these kind of things, but it takes landing on their site, digging a little bit, and then you find it, and so
No
we're
one
here
wants
to.
to dig anymore.
No one wants to dig anymore, and we're here to create that platform where it's all right there in front of your face, and it's easy to find, and you can see all their specials on both dates, as well as all the great information on their profiles. Plus, like I say, further reports, video, even photography, yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff.
When can we expect the video?
You're going to expect to see a video fairly soon, actually. I would say within the month,
Great.
actually, and it'll be where we're just starting this out. We have a couple samples now. We're already heading to a couple different venues to do video work at, and so the idea is to get a couple of these up so that then we can show people what we're really doing, and they're super cool, like what we're putting together.
I can't wait to see it.
Oh, they're super cool. They're going to be really, really unique. I think very cool. When I look at them, we got a great guy who's doing the post production for the stuff. We got a couple great videographers who are very experienced in the area too. So they're doing some really cool work, and yeah, I think they're going to be really appealing. It's not just like some corporate video. It's they're going to be really, really cool. So the functionality is built and it's ready to deploy, and I imagine we will in the coming couple weeks, actually.
That's great. So before we go, Donnie, I have two questions for you that have nothing to do with work.
Okay.
The first one is, you've traveled to 57 countries.
Yeah.
What is the craziest experience that you've had?
The craziest experience that I've had. Man, Jenna.
Did you confront a wild animal by accident somewhere? Did something crazy?
Yeah, I've confronted wild animals.
Oh God, that does not. I wasn't expecting you to actually say yes.
Yeah, I have in Africa, and I have in. So my buddy and I one time we took a trip down to Australia and Tahiti, Australia, and New Zealand. And when we got to Sydney, we just rented a car and we drove, and we just had the surfboards on the top, and we had no reservations anywhere. We just drove up the coast, stopped, surf, found a place to stay, stopped, surf, found a place to stay, kind of kept going.
Bad.
We ended up pretty far up north, and we went to this place where it was like one of the last breaks before the Great Barrier Reef. And you drive out, 30 kilometers on the sand, and you get out there, and there's this point, and there's nobody out there, and him and I are like, we go out and we surf, twice, 3 times. We're out there for hours, and we go out, come back in, eat some food, run back out. Nobody out, right? We're just loving it, hooting and hollering at each other, having a blast, not thinking twice. We get back in the car and we drive back into town. We get in town, go get some wax at the surf shop. We tell this guy, "Oh man, we were just out at Shipwrecks. This place was awesome. It was just us, nobody there." And the guy starts laughing at us. And we're like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh mate, it's shark season." He's all, "Did you look below you?" And we said, "No." He's like, "If you look below you, there was hundreds of great whites right below you. That's where they go. That's where they sit, and that's where they're mating at that time.
Oh
That's
my
why there's
God.
nobody out there." And my buddy and I kind of look at each other like, "Oh, good thing that we didn't know, because they sense fear." And so
Oh.
he had no
Oh my
idea.
God. That is so horrible.
So it's kind of a funny story.
There's
There's a
no
lot.
humor in that.
Yeah, there's a lot of different experiences with animals, and
Wow.
yeah.
I have a fear that the neighbor's cat's going to come in my house, and not a fear that I'm going to be swimming over tons of mating sharks.
Yeah, that was one of those. We were going down the Zambezi River one time and jumped out of the raft and we're floating down the river and doing it. And the guy, they're I don't know, a little bit ahead of us, and he whistles, "Come in the boat," waves us in the boat. We're like, "What?" And he points to the side of the bank, and like just over on the
I don't
bank,
want to know.
2 huge crocodiles just sitting right there. And one dips right in the water, and we are just like, just beeline to the boat, get in the boat, turn the corner, and on the right side over there are like 3 hippos, a family of hippos, and they're mean. Hippos are mean, and so
Oh
we're
my God.
just kind
Stay out of the water.
of
No
yeah,
more water sports.
yeah, no more water sports. Yeah, a lot of great countries though, man. I got to see a lot of great places. I love traveling, so
I'm going to stay on land next time I travel.
yeah,
So now this is the question I'm most excited about.
yeah.
What is the best meal you've had while traveling?
What's the best
The
what?
best meal.
The best meal? Ah, Jenna, that's a hard
Really
one.
like 1 or 10. I love food, so I'd love to know them all.
Yeah. Shoot. I mean, I've eaten some amazing steaks down in Argentina, like meat in Argentina. I'd have to say one of the best, most memorable meals though was this. It was like a lobster and fish barbecue in Bali, and it was the most amazing taste ever. I mean, aside from we just came back from doing a thing at Four Seasons Leilai in Hawaii, and the chef there was amazing, and he cooked this meal that was, I mean, he did a salad that was amazing. It's some great stuff, but like from traveling experiences like that, yeah, man, hands down, that seafood barbecue on the beach in Bali was, and it was like, I mean, it was amazing food, and it was a lot of food, and it was like $15 for the 2 of us, or the 3 of us. I bought our guide food too that day, and it was cheap, and it was so yummy, yummy. I loved it. Oh, I can think of it now.
Well, Donnie, thank you so much for being with me and sharing such an honest story of what it's like to start a company and make all these transitions. How can everyone stay up to date with what you guys are working on?
Well, they can come to the Venue Report, venuereport.com, sign up for our newsletters, register for the site. You can see any of the stuff there. You can see our Instagram account also, the Venue Report. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all the social areas. And yeah, love to see you get involved. And again, this is not just a place to find a wedding spot. I mean, you're looking to travel and looking to find a place to get away with the girls or a guy's bachelor thing. Come check us out. We got some really cool, great spots and great members.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, Jenna. Thank you.